Today we got 5 tips for faster drag times. Let's go. What's up, guys? Texas Hemi Performance here. Just kind of wanted to get a little video going for a lot of you guys, man. There's a lot of people that go out to the drag strip and don't really know what's going on, don't know how to, maximize their efforts to really get the most out of their passes. I've helped a lot of people in person with this, but I'd really like to put it down in a video so you guys can try to implement it on your home tracks for you guys out of state, away from North Texas that I really can't meet or reach out to. So, man, we got 5 of them today. Number 5, shallow staging. If you don't know what shallow staging is when you pull up and you barely trip off that second yellow light. I'm talking you barely ease forward to shallow stage it. That gives you a couple of inches of beam rollout to have your truck actually moving forward before the timer starts when it turns green. It might only help as much as a couple hundredths, man, but it's something I've been doing for years, a little trick, and a lot of you drag racers have been around for a little while. You know what I'm talking about. So shallow staging is a big one. Give it a shot. It can't hurt. Pretty easy little deal there. So with that being said, number 4, tire pressure, guys. Tire pressure, if you're running street tires, most of you guys are, you really want to be able to minimize the rolling resistance. In order to do that, you're going to want to have, really high pressure in your front tires. A lot of people on factory fronts, they'll put as much as 45, 50 pounds in the front tires just to really air them up. I've seen people go up 55 to 60. I wouldn't go 60 myself, man, on a factory tire or anything of that sort. In the rears on the Goodyear Wranglers, I dropped them down to about 27, 28 pounds. And right now I'm running Goodyear LS2s, the Eagle LS2s, and I run about 27 to 28 pounds in those as well. And really, it's all going to depend on track prep. A lot of you guys down in Louisiana, Cody Koopel and Matt Brown and all them, man, they have a lot of problems down there because those tracks don't prep as well. So they might have to bump it a little bit lower and really kind of feather it out of the hole to be able to get those street tires to hook up. On good prep tracks, I've had as much as 30 in mine, man, and damn near dead hooked on street tires. Down in Houston, where Matt from Moe's and all them race at, I actually have the fastest street tire pass, and it was in negative 1700 something DA. It was pretty wild. Low 40s outside, and it was on the Goodyear LS2s as well, and almost dead hooked out of the hole. I rolled out just a little bit, but was able to run a 1249 letting out on the big end. I'll post that video later for you guys, but yeah, 1249 on street tires was pretty outstanding. Either way, that's street tires. If you're running slicks, do not be scared of running low PSI, guys. There's a lot of people out there that really think they need to be running, as much pressure as they can get away with, and still hook, and that's not the case, guys. Slicks are not designed to be a radial, okay? Slicks are meant to give you, sidewall wrinkle and slingshot you out of the hole. So, myself, I run 15.5 to 16 pounds of pressure. Tire wrinkles like hell coming out of the hole. So, and while people think that takes away from mile an hour, I call malarkey on all that, man. I trapped as much as 111 mile an hour on bolt-ons, okay? So, you're not going to lose mile an hour from 15.5, 16 pounds of pressure. If you're hooking, awesome, guys. So do not be scared of low pressure on slicks. Radials, just play with it. That's kind of a different deal. They're not designed like a slick. All right, guys, number 3. While we're on the topic of tires, drag slicks. Hoosiers for the win, guys. They not only do they hook like crazy, they last extremely long, man. I've got as many as 200 plus passes out of one set. So while a lot of people are worried about being able to drive around town and hot rod up and down the streets and go to street races and all that, Me personally, I don't do a lot of that, man. Every once in a while, I'll drive to the strip on the slicks, and that, it's really not that bad. I'll bump up the pressure and run. You got a little sway, nothing too gnarly, but slicks, they last a long time. They're light. Rotational mass kicks in, and for a lot of people that know, they say rotational mass. 1 pound of rotational mass is about 4 pounds of sprung mass. So anytime you can get away with running a slick and you're not worried about changing them out at the track or the short drive to the track on them, man, I'm telling you guys, you won't regret it. They launch harder, they're lighter, they're faster. That's just my personal opinion. Take it for what you will, but that's number 3, man, and a big one in my book. Number 2, don't be scared to prep, guys. You got a lot of prep Nazis out here that want to run around and talk about how you had to pull your tailgate and yank a passenger seat or a console or something of that sort, man. You know what, man? These trucks, 5,000 plus pounds in factory form, man. You got these Fords out here you're trying to run with, and the damn things are aluminum bodied. They weigh 4,200, 4,400 pounds with driver in full trim. So don't be scared to prep, man. It's free ET. It's free ET, guys. The easy things, the extremely easy things, you can do them in 30 minutes, man, in your house, man, before you head to the track. Take your tailgate off. Pull your passenger seat. Yank your console. If you're in a quad cab or crew cab, pull your back seat. Rule of thumb's always been 100 pounds per tent. And that's probably pretty close. I've kind of noticed, 150 pounds for a tent or so, man. But anything you can knock off, why not, man? Make it happen. Remove your air filter. A lot of people scared to do that. Don't be scared of it at the track, man, unless you're like some of those guys up north dealing with those forest fires and all that kind of stuff, man. A lot of garbage in the air. I get it in those situations. Don't pull it. Be safe. But I've had guys come out, drop as much, in the slower trucks. I had a guy running 10.9s all night. We pulled his tailgate, yanked his air filter, and he got down to 10.30s the very next pass. So if you're running a paper air filter, get that thing out of there, man. You're not going to hurt anything, man. I've been running without a filter at the track for pretty close to 15 years now. So pull that thing, won't regret it. Helps your times out. Period. That's all there is to it, man. As far as prepping, man, that's about all I've got on that, man. Pull as much as you can. Free ET, guys. Number 1, IATs, intake air temp. Keep those boogers down, okay? Pop your hood between runs. If you're sitting in the pits, a lot of us have sat out there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You sit out there 2 to 3 hours in line waiting to make one pass. Keep your hood open. Do not sit there and just let your truck run the whole time, heat soaking the crap out of it, man. These porcelain plastic intakes, man, they heat soak. They heat soak heavy, and the more you sit there and idle and keep your hood closed and everything, especially if you don't have active shutter delete or anything, and it closes those shutters off, increasing that air temp a lot faster than it would without them. Hit up Jason Daria for the active grill shutter deletes. There you go, Jason. But like I said, you want to keep those down as much as possible. I've noticed in these 4th gens, a little different than the old 3rd gens. 3rd gens used to want to be a bone cold pass, and it was your best pass of the night. These run better up to temp, but with low intake air temps. So meaning, go ahead and make your first pass, pull around, get right back in line if you can. Get there early, man, where the tracks aren't real packed, so you can do this. Pull around, get back in line. While your intake air temps are still bringing in fresh air, you're not sitting there idling, heat soaking, and make another pass as soon as possible. I promise you it's going to be faster than that first one. So, like I said, try to keep those intake air temp cents down. Let's see, Jason Daria, myself, and a couple others, man, we have custom track intakes. Check out Incredible Hemi. He's got a video on his. But it's never a bad idea to header wrap your intake tubes as well, to really kind of, keep down on that IATs. In dead summer, I saw as much as a 10-degree drop by header wrapping mine, so it's a great idea always to try to keep them IATs down, guys. But those are my 5 big things. One more quick one, guys. Forgot to mention off idle launch. Some people disagree. I argue with them all day. On an NA setup, naturally aspirated, you're gonna want to launch off idle in these trucks, man. They flash harder, they flash higher. It leaves that little bit of slack in the drivetrain to where, it has to, flash the converter. It's got to, squat the suspension. It's got to wrinkle the tire, and then it's going to launch, man, which means you're launching at a higher RPM. You're flashing higher. It's just a better idea, man. I've seen people, improve as much as 3 to 400ths of a second, and even really more, man. I've experienced myself sometimes going out and, in Houston, I was running, consistent 12 O's, 12 1s, busted out the 1198 pass, and then went off and I said, man, I'm just going to toy with it. I had plenty of time, plenty of track passes to make, so I started, trying to idle it up and really brake stall it. And man, I started dropping down to 1208s, 1209s, 1211s. It just didn't like it, man. Just a good idea. Try it. A lot of you think, if you brake stall it, it's going to help it out. Man, it actually hurts more than it helps in my experience. Toy with it yourself. Do what works best for you. But check it out, guys. But those are my 5 big things. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. It's been a little while since I've been to the track, man, but I'm going to get back out there soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it helps, man. Get out there and get it knocked out, guys. Let's run some good times and kind of let me know if these help. Y'all have a good one, guys. Peace out.